Hey, Alafia, hey Kale, peaceful blessings be upon you all during this divine, wonderful, powerful evening. Yes, yes, yes. It's been an abundance of lessons and wisdoms, and I've got some great things to share with you all today that has been setting on my ori, my head, within my consciousness on some things I've been led on as things have been occurring. Lot of confrontation with resolutions and these conflicts within the past few weeks within community, sisterhood, family, and intimate relationships and dating. So I just want to bring this live reflection and speak about conscious predators. And conscious predators, these are people who learn the language of spirituality, healing, and awareness for their own manipulation. They use it to manipulate other people, such as family, friends, and social dynamics, communities, and even spiritual community spaces that we're not really talking about. And this is, general across the broad, okay? So this is a conversation about discernment of our own ori, listening to ourselves, our guts, so that we can truly be free and not imprison ourselves with these entrapments of these relationships, so that we can grow and truly be abundant and authentic to love and what it is that we know. So, to say, this is not blaming men or women, but we're just recognizing the patterns that show up in people when they perform consciousness instead of actually embodying it. They're being, I don't know, all these damn terms. They're being fake, okay? Putting on a mask. I guess they calling it today imposter syndrome. I don't know. All these damn terms are getting on my nerves. The English language is just such a fruit and interesting curse. Anyway, drinking my nervous system tea. Okay, so just an FYI, if anybody is having any complications with this energy, feeling tense, anxious, tight, body aching, joints hurting, little inflammation, get you something for your nervous system to reset. Okay, you can use things like ashwagandha, chamomile, uh, 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 oat. I'm thinking. Oat, oat, chamomile, use licorice root, different things. But anyways, I have some wonderful nervous system reset tea that I'm drinking now that I made with a splash of honey because it's been sensitive out here in these streets. So the conversation here is about discernment. Not to blame men or women, but recognizing these patterns again. Sharing reflections from my lived experience as a woman navigating conscious relationships, community, and personal growth. I will be taking a look at my notes. I am a note taker, y'all, because my brain be going so fast and I be forgetting some stuff, and to stay in alignment so that you guys can understand me as I understand self respectfully, humbly, truly, without much confusion. If there is confusion, ask questions, okay? So, in sharing my reflections on my own lived experience, it's helped me to really stay aware, grounded, and sovereign in my independence as a spiritual being living a very temporary human experience without having to validate these experiences outside of my own. Okay. So, it's just been an interesting dilemma here recently. Seriously, it's been very interesting, y'all. So let me just go here to what I want to discuss. I just did a Facebook Live, y'all. Excuse me, I'm a little tired. I was hoping it would have recorded, but It didn't. So I want to talk about, in these spiritual spaces, I guess some people may call them, they're not just narcissists, okay? But they're just toxic relationships in general. About these people who come into our spaces who give us Kosi Wahala, many problems anyways. They show up in friendships, they show up in kinships with our family, they show up in intimate relationships with men and women we're dating. And last but not least, they show up in the spiritual communities as our teachers, healers, priestess, partners, leaders, whomever. Trust me, I've met many of them and I had to walk away. Hell, I had to walk away from many mentors that, hey, everybody's not a keeper for life. Some people just flow in for the moment to show us what we need to know. So I want to talk about how we recognize this energy and how it operates so that we can protect ourselves at this time, our spirits, while still remaining loving, open, and conscious. Okay. So why this conversation matters, you may wonder. Well, just to say something more important before I go any further, this conversation, again, is not about man hating. This conversation is not blaming one gender. This is about predatory behavior that exists in all of us who have not done our work. And as a person from experience, a Black woman navigating relationships, family dynamics, and conscious spaces, I can only speak from my experience. So take what resonates and leave the rest before your butt get upset. Okay? Mm. But these patterns itself, it shows up everywhere. Okay. Like I said, friends, family, teachers, communities, our children, our parents. Hell, the first narcissists in my life were my parents. Okay. My mother and my mother was the first one. Okay. And then the second one would be my baba, my daddy. All right. And so a conscious predator is someone who studies us to observe things so that they can find ways to control and manipulate us. They learn the spiritual aesthetics of the lingo, the frequency, the um, the lexicon, to learn about how, spiritual language such as using healing, shadow work, divine feminine, all these new terms, masculine, trauma, consciousness, energy, all these what do they call 'em? Attractive words, I guess, these drawing words, these trigger words to draw a person in. You know what I'm saying? Instead, they use that knowledge to evolve, use it to manipulate people emotionally, psychologically, to abuse, to take advantage, to take our money, to take our time, take up our energy, to fulfill whatever agenda that they have so that they can continue to live however they want to live beautifully. And they'll take advantage of that if we let them and we don't know these signs, okay? So instead of saying things like, or doing things like, to manipulate, to draw you in, or say like, they want to control you, they'll say things like, oh, you're just triggered. And, not just identifying that, they'll manipulate you to try to coerce a person to that they're convinced that they are triggered because the other person says they are. But do we believe it? See, that's why discernment is everything in confidence, because when we know ourselves truly and stand grounded in that, we will take what resonates again, leave the rest, and if someone says we're triggered, but we don't believe we are, then we stand on that, okay? And we tell them, or we silently humble and just don't respond anyways. But no one can tell us who we are and what we be unless we're ready to receive and take that however lightly or not lightly we want. They'll say stuff like, you're not understanding me because you're not at that level of spiritual understanding and stuff, not taking account that maybe they don't know what the hell that they're talking about. Maybe they don't have the patience to share what it is that they're talking about. They'll put on this front like they did online, for a moment until sugar gets real. Ooh, this tea is good. Mm. What did I put in this tea? It's good though. But anyways, it's gonna be on the site soon. DuPlesseGrove.com is coming to a space near you. And or they'll say, oh, stuff like you're not spiritually evolved, you can't understand me, you need to go heal. All in their spiritual Ferris wheel, all up here with high spiritual arrogance. Like they know everything and you can't tell them nothing about themselves. They can't be humble and reflecting. Instead, they deflect on their accountability to be avoidant. And it's a defense mechanism to survive so that parasitic lie, that mask that they have is not being revealed. And that parasite inside the physical alien parasite, the little worms and things can continue to feed off our host bodies and live and make us do the most silliest sugar, okay? And so they'll weaponize their spiritual language to silence us, to make us feel they're here and they're down there because we end up sometimes idolizing these people. My son's dad, oh God, I don't even want to go into it. But anyways, idolizing these people to where they're here, and then we put ourselves down here. We'll put these people on a pedestal, or teachers or leaders, whatever, but we don't see ourselves as equally yoked where we have something to contribute to this knowledge, this wisdom, this consciousness with who we are and what we've done. We all have something to contribute to share in reciprocal exchange. So now, how does conscious predatory behavior show up in dating? Yeah, and then I'm gonna quote Mama Latava Malbinjango because she got me real hip on what a conscious predator was about 15 years ago. Dang, 15 years ago? Yeah, I was like in my 20s. But in dating, it can look like someone who presents themselves as very woke. I hate that word. Awakened, aware. They're all talk, but no walk. They sound good, you know. They sound good when they're not in your face in person. They look good, for the performance of whatever they're trying to reflect to the audience of who they are that they're not, but they're not being and doing what they preach, what they share. And it feels magical at first because they sound so intelligent, the certain words that they use, it just feels so good to finally get someone who resonates or touches our heart and we can relate, right? But over time, we'll begin to notice that something ain't aligned and something ain't right. It's fake. Their words of consciousness aren't matching their behavior. No. And so in dating, these men or women can come in, rush emotional intimacy. They'll try to coerce you into sex, get married early, starting a relationship too fast. They'll love bomb you with a whole lot of spiritual language like, oh, we done lived many lifetimes. Oh, I've never met a sister, goddess, queen, brother, emperor, god like you. Claim to have some deep soul connection immediately, and they don't even know you in this lifetime. They ain't even remembered anything. And they talk about all these things so early, their destiny with you, marriage, and try to draw you in like a fish on a reel, fish line, and reel you in. Why? Because when we don't know ourselves confidently to ground ourselves, people can come in and tell us who we are and who we aren't. And they can take advantage of that. And that's straight manipulation. And, suddenly we become the ones who aren't so conscious because now they think they're leading and teaching us and they know everything, right? So, as Mama Latava Malbinjango said on her video 15 years ago about, I say this to my sisters and brothers now. You got one, possibly two. Look, I'm lenient, okay? And she might get on me about this if she hears this. Possibly twice. Or she might mind her business because she's good. Thank you, Mama Latava. But really, one time to fruit over my sisterhood, to disrespect, to be disloyal to be sneaky and manipulative to me, to take advantage of me. One time. Depending on how much I like you or love you. Then if you disrespect me and fruit me over like them other NIGGAs and them BITCHs who talk to you crazy, who mistreated and abused you, you won't get that opportunity with me. Okay? You got one mother fruiting time. Okay? And once you do that, in the words of Mama Latava Malvin Django, I don't give a gosh darn hoot in hell. She didn't say it exactly like that. But I'm saying I don't give a gosh darn hoot in hell if you're homeless, tired, hungry, broke, sick, dying. You will not receive any more of my energy to take advantage of me or anybody else who's connected to me. I'll make sure you're known on the block and you are a target to be removed consciously, okay? We don't want you in our communities. We don't need you. And as we talk about communities and friendships, we don't want to be friends with people who we don't align with, that don't match our frequency. That's death. They'll throw us all under the bus. Oh, this tea is so good. Mm. So, so we got to talk about spiritual communities too, okay? Because sometimes those are the most dangerous predators. We got people in ATRs and they're predators, and they'll come into our inboxes, Bible owls from E5 Faith or psychics, and they'll tell us things that we think we want to hear. They think we want to hear about, so we can obtain a reading. They can teach us, and to draw you in, it all sounds good until they start talking dollars. A real practitioner of spirit is not going to chase you down and manipulate your time and try to talk sweet to you so that you can hear whatever you want divinely. No, they're going to tell you the truth. And when somebody's trying to tell you the truth, you better listen. And if you don't take it well, and you get hurt in the process, and then you hurt me in the process by projecting or retaliating, done. Cut off. Cord cutting. I do a lot of those. I've been doing great. I'm stronger at cord cutting now. You need a cord cut? I can cut you like Tom Petty. Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that. Baby, baby, baby. Cut, cut, cut. I cord cut good and well. I will take your ass and leave you out. You will never forget. You may forget what the hell I said, but you will never forget how the hell I made you feel. And you're going to deal with that karma. So anyway, there's people in our communities, Bible owls or priestesses too, whatever, not just in Yoruba, but other indigenous faiths, or even in the church. They do it in the church too, taking advantage of children, women, men, sexually, telling you all the things that you want to hear, to say, if you do this for this organization, for our congregation, for our spiritual home or whatever that you're a part of, then you can be, but you got to have sex with me. You got to be my wife. You got to date me. You got to give me this much money. Whatever the case may be, they slick. Watch out for them motherfuckers, because they will fuck you over. Oh, God, I got to be careful my language. Oh, I don't want to get kicked off YouTube. Excuse me. Apologies. And so they might speak beautifully about healing, say some things that sound great. You think you done found the one. They might be able to hold space for others for a little while, appear very wise, as Billy Carson says, and his ex-wife, Elizabeth Carson. They said, look, people can't hide their mask no more than 6 months at least. If they can hide it more than a year, they're real good con artists. They real good. They real good about what they do, okay? And just don't let them get your butt, all right? And, as well as these people, friends, partners, communities, they'll gossip about you, not for resolution. Gossip is okay if it's coming for a resolution, to figure out what the hell's going on anyway, so things can be resolved for greater outcome, for lesson learned, to move forward, right? Okay, great. And they'll try to manipulate other people They'll try to manipulate other people to go up against you with not taking accountability because the lies that they spewed, isolate, um, call out particular people, throw them under the bus along with they trashy butts. And they'll try to compete with your knowledge spiritually, not just your knowledge, but your wisdom, what you do. They'll try to destiny swap you, be like you, want to look like you, act like you, do just what you do, steal your ideas, and give absolutely no credit for what you said and did and who we are. They study the language of our consciousness and they never actually embody it. They got the ecstatics, they got the hair, the afro, the locks, the jewelry, the whole gist. They look like that person, but they're not. They just dressed up like a mother fruit in Halloween costume, and that's the difference. It's not authentic. It's very fake. And how they'll try to intimidate or control people. Personal experience that sometimes, as a woman of power, of spirit, who's very wise and who has demeaned herself and devalued herself just to fit in, I will say this. There have been men who have and will take advantage of our intelligence, our intuitiveness, and our spiritual awareness because some people are intimidated by that because they feel they don't lack or they feel they don't have as much knowledge as we do. They'll say things like, "Oh, you're so much smarter than I am. There's so much I can learn from you. Look, okay, we all got a level of knowledge we can relate to. Let's not get into who's greater than who and who's better than what. That superior attitude. We all have something to contribute, and we all can teach each other. Elder and student go both ways. And to be a teacher, you got to be a student. You got to learn, right? So, and they'll compete with us and they'll try to control us and diminish our voices till we stop talking and we're not like ourselves at all. And we start to hurt ourselves. We start to hate ourselves, going to depression, anxiety, substance abuse and use, projecting onto other people, recluse, retreat because we don't know what to do. But true partnerships, whether intimate or friendships, they both require mutual respect for each other's intelligence and intuition, the personalities, and hey, if you can't take the heat of somebody, then get out their kitchen, get out their face, get out their space. Don't be a backstabber. Don't take things that you can't tolerate and then you end up like screwing yourself with the karma you put out because you talking about them or low-key hating them and can't stand them, but you trying to be in their space instead you still try to keep a relationship too long that needs to dissipate, right? Yeah. And so a true consequence to that is a conscious predator learning not how to dominate us but how to learn how to be us. So let's take these lessons and learn so that we can get our blessings and not get kicked in the ass. So some signs of some conscious predatory behavior to watch for: spiritual gaslighting is number one. They will deflect, deflect, deflect. Even when you try to tell them that you're taking responsibility for your own feelings or you want to tell them how whatever they did say have hurt you, but they won't respond with empathy, compassion, or respond with, "Look, you did this to me," or, "Well, actually, that's not how it went," and I didn't say that, or not I didn't say that, but what's one? I'm trying to think. I don't know right now, but anyways, I'm tired, y'all. I'm about to get off here. It's almost 1 a.m. So yeah, I talked about no accountability. They can talk about shadow work. They can talk about all the healing that everybody else need to do, but they can't talk about what they got to do. Apparently, they're so perfect that their sugar don't stink. Okay, has no fragrance. They will love bomb the hell out of you with spirituality. Talking about, we're soulmates, we're destined to be together, we've shared lifetimes, and try to build this attraction and this connection so instantaneously to make you, fall in love, fall heads over heels, not rise in love, because I don't We don't fall in love unless we're falling heads over heels stupid, but we can rise in love when it's great and high vibrational, and it's great for our health, and it grows our wisdom. The next thing is the competition. Instead of collaborating, I think I hit on it. They feel threatened by our growth, by our wisdom. They challenge our knowledge. They want us to over explain ourselves. They want us to prove what we know because they don't, or they think they do. And they have, again, this image over integrity. That's 5. They care more about appearing spiritual, talking spiritual. Oh God, just being a puppet, and they're not it. They're being fake. They're walking around in a Halloween costume with masks. So what can we do to protect our energy? So what do we do about it? How can we? We don't be bitter. We stay in our rituals and mind our business, do our routines. We don't let these people have control over our minds and have space where they don't rent or pay any energy reciprocally for our time. And we become more aware of ourselves, more observant of what's around us, what's behind us, to the side, in front of us, inside, outside. Okay? We observe people's behaviors over time. We watch and look. Don't listen to what they say. Listen to what they say, but don't listen to what they say. Let the confirmation be from what they do. Okay? And because, consciousness is, it's not necessary. It's not proven in spoken word. It's proven by action, by example. Okay. And everybody's consciousness is different. Everybody's journey is different. Okay. So let's cut that today. Not everybody's a vegan. Not everybody does yoga. Not everybody does sound bowls and all this other stuff that's just so sometimes just a little frou-frou, but necessary. Um, so, this consciousness is not proven by words, but by our consistency, our accountability, our mention and ability to be humble and that humility and be respectful to others. And just know that us people who are at this level of knowing wisdom, we're not perfect, okay? And we're not all namaste and kumbaya. Look, that's somebody else's ancestors. They're not mine. If they're yours, that's fine, but don't impose, okay? So, in closing on this reflection, I just want to say that I truly believe that we're living in a time where many people are awakening. And at a faster rate because we have so much accessibility to things, so much more accessibility with the internet, all these apps, all these things out here, ChatGPT and all these AI apps, Gemini, I don't know. I'm just my beautiful, wise old self. I've lived many lifetimes. There's so much going on. I get overwhelmed and have to retreat to protect my energy and call back my power. If that means staying in the house or the city that I live in and not calling and talking to anybody for a few days, that's okay. Because we get worn out by all these exchanges outside of ourselves. So when consciousness does arise, sometimes so does the imitation because people want to do it so fast. They want to bypass the hard work, the challenges to really grow mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and do it the easy way. And then they start to study other people, learn them, mimic them, and regurgitate knowledge they saw on YouTube or whatever from somebody. I'm so tired. I'm about to go get ready to roll up, y'all, so I can go to sleep. Okay? And so that's why this awareness is so important, and we don't stop loving ourselves so that we can love everyone else who loves us, okay? We don't have to love our enemies. I don't know who keeps saying that, but whoever keeps saying that and is thinking that, get that out your head right now. Stop it. Stop it. Shoot, shoot, shoot. For I saved you. We don't stop believing in healthy relationships, but we learn to discern the energy because real consciousness will never try to control the spirit, ever. You cannot be in tune to receive the spirit if you're closed-minded with limitations. The spirit is free-flowing and all-knowing. And we're not know-it-alls, okay? So take that. And, so I digress. Thank you for listening. And if this shared reflection resonates with you, feel free to share your experiences respectfully in the comments. I'll post on my social media information so you can connect with me and all those things. And if you're interested in more conversations around spirituality and relationships, conscious living, you can check out my work through Duke Ways Growth. The website will be coming very, very soon. I'm trying to get it out before the equinox, but I got some things I'm working on. I offer all kinds of things from holistic, hoodoo, Yoruba, spiritual items, herbal, remedies, consultations, various divinations from my ancestry of indigenous, Nordic, Scottish, Yoruba, Black American, all that in a bag of chips. All right. So thank you so much. I'll send all the connected links and things in the comments. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support and encouragement. Thank you for your open minds and opening me, welcoming us, my ancestry, my spirit guides into your space. I thank you. Namaste. Ashe. Amen. Amen. And Aho. And now I let you go. Odaro. Good night.